Big cat, how you came to be is no longer a mystery. Black sheep is your birthright. It's code for the one who brings the light. I bet if there's a crack, you don't fall back. Remember who you are. No rest for the wicked with their skullduggery. The use spell workers' projection to send out envy, hate, and jealousy. You are the prototype, your ancestors champion. They shield you and send back those spiritual attacks. You are divinely protected from the dummy bats. Yeah. Big cat, the most high, got your back. He sits high and looks low, so don't get smoked or smoke yourself. Big cat moving silence. Only time you speak is to say checkmate.
Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or messages. Come in! Come on! I've got intel. Recon is afoot. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Spark. Good golly and gosh, I said spark. Good golly and gosh, now it's a Freudian slip. A spark of fire is about to be lit, darling dears. Remember I told you that, right? We're gonna talk about the Karmics. What? I can hear the rumblings in the back, doors being slammed, someone screaming, and who's picking on the baby? Who's doing it? Ooh, child. Because these Karmics, they thought, they thunk they'd won. They believed they won a prize, but it was built on manipulation, deceit, and heartbreak. They now have an empire built on tears. Tears that were cried from the soul. It highlights how their supposed happiness is built on the tears and pain of others, creating a fragile and unstable foundation. The karmic boomerang, what they put out there, darling dears, will come back to them multiplied. It will. Their actions have set the stage for their own undoing. Good golly, and the gosh, bestie, and the gosh. It's going to be unmasking the illusions, what they thought and fought so hard. What they fought and thought so hard for, darling dears. They're going to realize how hollow it truly is. Leaving them with lessons galore, darling dears. Lessons galore. No one is going to escape this, darling dears. Trust and believe. We are in the age of Aquarius. And it's being guided by the 7 planetary alignment, darling dears. Let's dive right in. I'm sitting here thinking about these things, Black, and I need to get to work. They're not getting none of my shit. I usually give dice, advice. They ain't getting nothing. They're not getting nothing. You can't make me. All right. We're going to use the dice just to see where your mind is right now. Where is the big cat's mind at? Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. And the gosh, you have the energy of a 7. The energy of the 7, darling dears, tells me that you are in genius mode at this moment in time. The energy of the 7 tells me that you've analyzed situations. You've gone within. Because the energy of the 7 is about spiritual guidance, darling dears. Let's finish running down on what's going on for you, darling dears. The energy of the 1, you have a major decision to make, darling dears, but don't make this decision until after the next new moon. Why? It's being divinely guided. Divine wants to make sure that you've got all of the intel before you make your informed decisions. The energy of the 7, you could be a life path 7. It rules the number 7, 16, and 25, and the letters G, P, and Y. The energy of the 7 also rules Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces. Pisces is the 12th house. The 12th house of the unseen world, your intuition, your sensitivities, and your empathic nature. It also rules hidden patterns, darling dears, patterns from the past. It speaks about mental illness, darling dears, but it is also the house of what? Karmic debts. Hey! Woo! Or better yet, the energy of the 7, as I said, Pisces and Neptune energy. 7 is GPY, Neptune is O and Z. It tells me that you are a natural seeker of the truth, darling dears, and the truth always comes from within, darling dears. Looking at yourself in a situation, the energy of the 7 speaks about your psychic abilities that you are applying to this situation. It also speaks about exploring, expansion, darling dears, whether through words or actual physical exploration, darling dears. You are in the business of what? Finding out shiznai, darling dears. The number 7 also rules the South Node. Good God, all the intel is here, bestie. The energy of the... Oi, am I getting too excited? Listen, it's me, man, it's me. Just bear with me, darling dears. The South Node, darling dears, is about your past life and your early experiences. It's an inborn ability. It's your inborn abilities, darling dears, on your prior developments, or your developments up to the point where you was dealing with someone who is definitely needed to be thrown back, right? Given back, you had to give the idiot back to the villagers. The energy of the 7 is also comes with lucky numbers 4, 5, and 7. Your luckiest days will be Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. These are your power days, darling dears. Okay, it's supported by a semi-sextile, and we love a semi-sextile around here. That and a trine, good God, we love it, right? A semi-sextile speaks about the healing that you've had, darling dears, and the transformation that you are currently going through. It speaks about what? The energy of the 7, you led with forgiveness. Forgive the feeble-minded and the simpletons. Forgive them. Why? You don't want to be unnecessarily still tied to the same shiznai. Forgiveness ain't for them, blood. It's for you. For you and no one else. Okay. It's about you tapping into your imagination, darling dears, breaking down the illusions. You ripped off those rose-colored glasses and crushed them under your flip-flop. What's your flip-flop? Your flip-flops of common sense, darling dears. The same common sense is like a superpower to some of these feeble-minded, dull-eyed simpletons from the village. It also speaks about you've taken the time, darling dears, to understand the full situation, the ramifications. You've gained new knowledge, darling dears. All of this introspection has led to what? Learning, and it's about you reaching at higher spiritual levels. Okay? Oh my God. Sorry, I got to turn on the fan. Listen, when you're going through the change of life, darling dears, it don't care about whether you want to be cool or hot. You're on hot. Anyhow. So the information that the energy that you're in at this moment in time, that according to the Loshu grid, lean in, bestie, the energy of the 7 speaks about creativity, children, as well as entertainment. What they did to you, they thought it was entertaining. Good golly and gosh, you may even have progeny involved in this situation, right? Okay. Some of you are going to realize that the story that you're going through right now is going to reach its culmination in the fall. That's autumn in the UK, darling dears. For others, you're already in it. Your power colors over the next few days will be white and bright pastel colors, darling dears. Okay. The energy of the 7, according to the 48 laws of power, law number 8, make people come to you, bestie. Law number 23, concentrate your efforts, bestie. And my piece de resistance, do the Wendy Williams. Law number 29, plan all the way to the end. They didn't plan for the end. They didn't. Oh. Good golly, and the gosh, darling dears. And the gosh. The energy of the 7, this is why the dice don't lie. People lie. Dice, charts, they don't lie. People lie. Right? The illusions of it all, darling dears. The energy of the 7, according to astrology, is the 7th house. One-to-one relationships, darling dears. It also, the 7th house is your one-to-one relationships, your partnerships, your peers, agents. But it also speaks about open enemies. This person is an enemy of you, darling dears. They always were. Why? They wanted what you had, but they didn't realize that it was fool's gold. That was what? That was forged in the crevice of the devil's balls. I keep telling you this, bestie. I keep telling you this, but I won't stop. Why? I'm tenacious. Fist bump. The energy of the 7th house, as I said, they're open enemies, darling dears. The 7th house is also about the public. For others, this is about an ending of a situation. It could rule the ending of a marriage, long-term relationship, darling dears. Why? 7th house is about loyalty. It was not being used when it was pertaining to you, darling dears. Okay. It also speaks about mirroring as well as projection, darling dears. The karmic is trying to mirror you and project onto you, darling dears. So they're trying to rebuild themselves in your image. Why? Because whomsoever they got with, darling dears, you are still in the forefront of their mind. Why? They didn't appreciate what you brought to the tableau, which was the whole tableau, darling dears. So like I said, you have the energy of the 7. The 1 speaks about, as I said, you have to make a major decision. According to astrology, the 1 is the 1st house, darling dears. Okay? It's about your outer expression and how this best will serve your inner needs. You're stepping into a more leadership role. It's you taking new initiatives. You've made lots of fresh starts in this new beginning that you had to create for yourself, darling dears. But you was always being spiritually guided. Energy of the 7. Within this situation, 1st house, you learn to stand up for yourself. You was put in unfair competition, darling dears. Something to do with possibly the 5th child. You could be the 5th child in line, or you could have 5 children, darling dears. The energy of the 1st house is also a reminder to be careful of accidents going forward, especially between now and fall. That's autumn in the UK, darling dears. Be careful of stupid accidents. The energy of the 1st house is also a reminder of the health. Energy of the 6th, darling dears. Many of you have suffered with health conditions because of the circumstances and situations you was in. I had chronic illnesses, darling dears, which I am still dealing with. I had a stroke, even though I was out of the situation, darling dears. It was the culmination of everything, right? Okay. Let's press on. The energy of the 6th house in astrology is the culmination of the previous 5 houses. The signs and the planets in the 6th house support how you can take care of your body, your mental health, the kinds of jobs and everyday routines and rituals that help you thrive. Okay, so some of you are going to be changing your employment. Somebody's also going for further training. Someone is also going to be taking the training of a dentist. Go for it, darling dears. Somebody's about to acquire some kind of a bird. Okay, it could be a pet. Well, a pet is a bird, isn't it? Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. I'm surprising myself. The 6th house also speaks about your 1st child, darling dears. The 1st child in that situation possibly understands the ramifications of the whole situation. Maybe they saw your pain. Pardon me, that's a spiritual belch because I speaks the truth, roof. Pinkies up. Yeah. All right. Yes. And look at my nails. Look how gorgeous they are. Right? I went to a new nail salon and it rocked my world. Oh my God. Where I was going is just down the road. The woman don't use no jewels. No nothing. Just straight up paint. Are you kidding me? Blood, bruh, or sisterine? It wasn't fabulous enough for me. It wasn't. Didn't she? My nails weren't shaped out right. But listen. This is what I'm trying to say to you, darling dears. Step outside of your comfort zone, the box that you're in. Your values, your jewels, darling dears, and insights will come to you when you step outside of the comfort zone or the tight situation that they had you in. Bestie, oi! We need 2 decks. Because I've got a number of questions that I want to ask. Okay. Let me get the cards. Okay, let's get a deck that I haven't used in a while. That would be the easiest thing, darling dears. I'm going to use 2 decks. We're going to use the gold deck for you because you're the baddest of them all. And we'll use the purple deck that was gifted to me by my son. For fairness, darling dears. For fairness. Yeah. I've got someone to help me laugh, darling dears. Isn't it fabulous? Right. Let's give it a good shufty, darling dears. Move this deck over here for later reference. Look what fell out the deck as I was moving the cards around. The 3 of Cups in the reverse, darling dears. Whatever was happiness going on around there, Happy Town left. It left. It's gone. This and that, besties. This and that. Right? I hadn't even started mixing the cards up yet, and this fell out. In the reverse, don't you know? Pinky's up. Yeah, somebody's feeling the emotional drain, darling dears, while the other person is feeling left behind. If it was a third-party situation, a throuple that you didn't sign up for, darling dears, that person, one person is feeling the weight, right, of this throuple. The other person is feeling the emotional drain. They thought they'd won a prize. It was the booby prize. Booby trapped with wickedness, darling dears. Wickedness. It also speaks about they're going through something where their friendship or whatever the situation is, it's about to end. There's definitely some form of miscarriage or the other thing. You know, the other word that begins with A in the situation. There's lots of depression being bandied around, darling dears. The person that abused your trust, darling dears, they're still feeling that weight. Lots of disharmony and tension. Yes. And if they've got a social circle, they've all got an opinion, darling dears. And everyone is flatulent, like bottoms. Yeah, how about that? We've got to find the right word. It also speaks about the karmic is feeling a lot of miscommunications, lacking in any form of support, darling dears, and it's affecting their relationship. What? I had to, when I'm spewing out this, darling dears, and I realize what my mouth just said to my ear chakra, I've got to come back in and understand what I just said. Yeah, they're feeling it, darling dears. They're feeling it. They're not addressing the conflicts that came in the situation. Oh well, let's dive even further in, darling dears, and find out where we're going. Give it a good shufty. The first question I will ask, what did the karmic use to manipulate the situation and gain the upper hand? This fell out by itself. The cards have split here and here. Whatever she did, it was underhanded, darling dears. We got the star card. Good golly. And the gosh, darling dears. The star card in the reverse. In the reverse, number 1, there's no healing of the situation. Pina kill out them quatty. They're depressed, darling dears. Lack of communication. No support. Imagine that. They never thought this would happen, eh? Okay. Give me some more intel on this. Lots of jealousy in the situation. This jealousy is being directed at you. The person that they're with, their eyes are filled with that hooded look. What's that? The look of disloyalty, darling dears. The unrequited love. Nobody don't love them. Love don't live here. You don't love them, darling. You do not. Where's my shiznai? Hold on a minute. Bestie, I had to go and get my sage. Just light it up. And my sage is running low. My daughter Kenya bought it back for me from she went to Boston and then she went down to Salem and she bought it from this shop. Let me show you how much I've got left. Good God, I've got to use it sparingly. I'm down to the last drop. I broke down the first one. I mean the second one. The first one I just burnt it like that. Listen, right? And then she went there in May, and then in September she went to Egypt, and I got all of these and a number of other things that I've got around my domicile, darling dears. But like I was saying, right, forgiveness, and you are going to forgive them. I got this when my daughter went in May to Salem, and when I had the stroke, I was wearing this around my neck, darling dears. This is why I was able to acquire back my ability to speak. Lapis lazuli. You wear that shiznai, darling dears. And now, why I'm doing this? Because I'm hypnotizing your blood clot. Yes, you forgive. You forgive. Back round my neck, darling dears. I never have this off. And you can't tell me that this didn't save me. Look at stroke victims. I mean, there's other side things that have happened and which I'm dealing with, but I was not able to speak. Imagine that. And I had 7 readings to do and I couldn't speak. All I could say was yes and O'Shea. Everything goes yes, O'Shea. Imagine that, darling dears. Let's get back right to it. We have the star card in the reverse, darling dears. In the upright, it speaks about a benefactor, someone that supports the situation. Well, there's no support here, darling dears. There's none, right? Whatever they did to create this illusion and manipulate the situation to gain this upper hand. I don't even know what they was trying to gain the upper hand on, darling dears. You had to give the village back its idiot. Star card in reverse. As I said, this person is extremely jealous. They're living amongst broken dreams. The partner has got the unrequited love. Yes, right up next to the what? Disloyalty, darling dears. There's no trust in this situation. At this moment in time, the karmic is fearing that they're about to be abandoned. All in the star card, darling dears. Can you see? Oh, let me turn on another light. Yeah, right. What else, Case? What else can we tell them? It also speaks about the karmic having a lot of faith in the relationship that they're in, darling dears. Unsure of what their future's gonna be. Yes, bad challenges. Did they do a Watusi through the graveyard? Whatever they did. If they did that Watusi and they took grave dirt, darling dears, they don't even know whose grave they took it off. A Watusi through there. Listen. They're going through it, darling dears. This is a lack of spiritual support. No guidance, darling dears. Their partner gives no support to the situation. The card split here. Look! I told you, it's going down, Bobby Brown. Look, somebody's about to release the burden. Right. Good golly and the gosh. 3 of Cups. The 10 of Wands. They want to put it down, darling dears. But this person hasn't got a leg to stand on. The 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. This is someone who is extremely jealous, darling. We already spoke about the jealousy. We did, didn't we? We did. We discussed it at great length. This karmic is feeling a bit like a prosy. You know, was it a lady or man of the night, darling dears? They're seeing the cold greed that they put into the situation. They're feeling they're lacking in motivation, right? Especially around work. Listen, their pillar of lies is falling down, and now they're turning into what? Salt Bay, Lot's wife. Oh, wow. Money's going down. They're in debt, darling dears. If they've got a car, it's a piece of shit. They're jealous of the Flintstones. This don't look good, darling dears. This don't look good. Where else did it split? In the reverse again. Brock Pocketers. No new opportunities. Good golly. And the gosh, bestie. and the gosh. Oh no. Oh yes, it's happening. There's emotional abuse in the situation, possibly even physical abuse. They're getting bad news after bad news after bad news. The karmic has become very lazy in the situation. She don't even know how to clean her house, darling dears. Good golly and gosh. They're both realizing the immaturity of the situation, right? The karmic is an underachiever. Someone who should have trusted their intuition and left that person alone, right? They was coming from the bottom of the pit, darling dears. Yes, and you was in the bottom of the pit with them. You was with them. Listen, I'm not a picker, I'm a pointer. I was a dummy bat until I was half of 100. Until I became the red light, green light champion of 2018. When the lights went on, darling dears, the lights went on. Lots of losses. They've got no one that they can speak to, darling dears. And if they do, it's lies they're telling. They're telling effing lies. They manipulated this situation. Some of them went as far as doing a Watusi through the graveyard. All right. What are the consequences that the karmic is going to be facing, the current consequences, apart from all that other shit? Yeah, this is the philanderer, right? The philanderer, the pedestrian sperm engineer, the animal with a kitten or Cuban heel. Yes, someone who has the mattress back. Yeah, wait. This is them offering to the situation, darling dears. This is bad luck. 9 of Cups in the reverse. Queen of Cups, darling dears. This is someone who is very jealous. I don't know why the cards are coming out upside in. Well, some of them are upright. The partner would like to come and make amends, darling dears. 5 of Swords. Does it look like you want to be friendly? Listen. This is all Swords energy, darling dears. On its forehead. All of the lies, subterfuge, and bull swanky will be brought into a situation. This person is stuck. 6 of Swords on its forehead, darling dears. On its forehead. They're coming from a toxic relationship and trying to get back with you, darling dears. Good golly and the gosh, forgive them. Wait, let me go back to my lapis lazuli in case you've forgotten. Let me take it back from around my neck chakra. Forgive the dummy bats and the feeble-minded. Stop tying yourself to the past and situations that divine has already freed the big cat from. Right. Back around my neck chakra. Ace of Swords. This is a effing skin-peeling liar. So that they're lying to each other, darling dears. I love you. No, I love you more. Bare lies. Bare lies and subterfuge. The this and the that of it all, darling dears. It also shows 6 of Swords in reverse, you moving away from this difficult situation. It was difficult. Swords is mental energy. They worked on your mind chakra. You're wondering, well, why is Case laughing? My name is Case, C-A-S-E. Why am I laughing? Because I remember those dark times. And I can't believe it. Because when I said that I was done, and I told him, right, I would rather stand naked in front of all of my enemies in the rain as I carved out my own punani and dashed it aground and let a marga dog, that's Jamaican terminology for the skinniest dog out there, darling dears, to dry it away. Right, and to feel the pain of that dog consuming my punani that I threw away before he sees it again, before him see it again. Oi, I went in, darling dears, and when I said I was done, the mental part of it, that is the part that it took a while for me to get past it, darling dears. The level of betrayal, right? Okay, let's move on, darling dears. Okay, the prize they thought they won. What does it reveal about their insecurities that they have now, the karmic? The prize they thought they'd won. What's it revealing about its insecurities? Listen, this is a fucking, this is a liar. F-U-Q-I-N-G. Full on liar, right? They're lying to themselves. Subterfuge and bull swanky. Good golly. And the gosh, darling dears. And the gosh. I know, bestie. They're realizing that they've got a difficult partner who's extremely manipulative. The Page of Swords in reverse is a cheater. Listen. What do they get for Christmas? Cheating. New Year's, cheating. Every other day, cheating. This is what they asked for, darling dears. Because I told you, their partner has the hooded eyes of the unrequited love. That's right up there next to their disloyalty, darling dears. There's a lot of malicious gossip going on around them at this moment in time, darling dears. They're getting bad news after bad news after bad news. They're experiencing mental restlessness, darling dears. That's it. What? It's kicking like Jackie Chan on their mentals, the same way they worked on you, darling dears. This is what's come home to roost. A bad-minded chicken. That's their business, right? Hold on a minute. Let me get my sage going again. Let that bad juju stay with them. I give it to them in the high and the low. Stay with them. Got my sage burning because none of that is sticking to me. When I finish this read, I'm going to go on with my day. What am I going to do? I told you. Big cat tells no one nothing. And then they go to the second rule. Go back to the first rule. Fist bump. This person is insecure and telling lies, darling dears. Yes. Because they looked at what they invested into, darling dears. Is that a hoe? Is he leaning on a hoe? He's leaning on a hoe and looking at what they invested in, darling dears. They got one pentagale to their name. Base of the deck, darling dears. They're a fool. They feel like a fool. A dummy bat to be exact, darling dears. They both feel like a fool in foolishness. Split the deck. Chariot is telling you the truth. Yeah. They went into this situation. Energy of the 7. You carry the energy of the 7. Your warrior spirit, darling dears. It's still shining through. It speaks about the success and the level of success you've achieved. Right? They invested in the wrong thing, blood. The wrong thing. They had money invested in that situation. Their money's gone down to one pentagale. Oh. Hey. Woo, child. This situation was extremely reckless and painful, darling dears. The decisions that were made, right? Everything that they've done, darling dears, has been nothing but bad choice after bad choice after bad choice. This is what a tree sloth, darling dears, with algae in their fur. Tree sloths move slowly, so they're taking their time to leave a situation, darling dears, but they're on a knife's edge. Lots of mental issues being bandied around, darling dears. They feel hounded, darling dears. There's nothing like your own mind to work against you. And trust and believe it'll work against them. All right, let's go to my gold deck. How is the big cat in this situation? Give it a good shufty. Because we already know you're rocking with the number 7, the warrior spirit in you. Somebody, 7, chariot energy. You may have even bought a new car, a new vehicle, darling dears. Okay. All because you remained focused, darling dears, when you was going through the DNS. You're the baddest of them all. You could even be an entrepreneur, darling dears. Listen. You are a big shot, darling dears, and you are calling order in your court, darling dears. Stable foundation. You have an 11-11 fade. What else do we have here? King energy. Look, the devil energy, darling dears, where you were kept down. This speaks about how you was tied to the situation. Could be drugs, alcohol, or it could even be your progeny, because children came up at the top of the read, darling dears. You was tied to the situation, but you are getting wish fulfillment at this moment in time. Divine has gifted you with the genie in the bottle, darling dears. Split the deck. Happy life. The emperor could also represent a past partner with a male or female that's coming towards you, darling dears. Listen, this person is a supporter. The emperor is Mars and Aries energy. Wasn't we just talking about the Mars and Aries energy right here at the beginning, that you're going to have to make a major decision? We also have the energy of the 2. The 2 is representative of it being an extremely fortunate time. You're going to be getting a lot of unexpected good news, darling dears, and money. Boy, right? The energy of the 2 tells me that if you're making any form of travel for business or pleasure, it's going to what, be expansive and fortunate for you, darling dears. It tells me how you broadened your horizons. The energy of the 2, according to astrology, the 2nd house is Taurus Venus energy. It's fixed energy, so it tells me that you tackled this situation slowly. You did. You had to undo all what was going on in your crown, in your crown chakra, darling dears, and it was wickedness. This is what the person that you was dealing with brought to your tableau, darling dears. They kept you chained and bonded. This is abuse, darling dears. Some of you went through physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and let me not speak about the finances, darling dears. The fat way. I'm trying to regain control of myself. Look, I even lost my ability to speak just then, darling dears. They would love to have one more round, Julie, with your hairline. They would love it. Look, wish fulfillment, all of the cups, darling dears. You've overcome a situation, a very hard situation. You overcame this, right? And you have a message coming in. It got left on the table. You've got something significant coming towards you, which is about to change your landscape. Remember, I told you that. About your healing, this is where they left you, darling dears, feeling left out. You felt left out of the situation, but the Queen of Wands tells me about your psychic abilities. You can also represent you as a mother or father. It speaks about you tapping in, darling. Look, you're even protecting your cat. What's that? No genitalia Watuzis with no one for you, darling dears. This is about you making better choices because you see where you came from, what you lost in that situation. And if you've got progeny, that person don't want to help you, darling dears. They want your children to still be wearing, you know, those soft baby shoes you get when the child is, they want them still in that. And your child could be, what, 15, 16, all them ages. They need big shoes for big people. What's the matter with them? Happiness, darling dears. 11-11 fade, right? You're looking back at the past, darling dears, which was skullduggerous. I can't make it up. 7 of Swords. They had you, darling dears. They had you until they didn't. 6 of Swords. You choosing to leave, darling dears, was the best decision you ever made. Some of you are going for it right now. Choose you. Choose you, bestie. Why? Because you've only got one go round on this Malkuth, darling dears. You come here with a purpose and you have to fulfill it before you leave this earth. This is why I keep bringing you back to the charts. Your North Node, darling dears, will tell you where you need to be, what you need to strive for. My North Node is in Aries, so I had to be more, put myself in a leadership position, darling dears. Being able to take care of my own finances, darling dears. Making these new beginnings for myself. Yes, there's competition, but you stand out, Aries energy. Okay? I'm a life path 11. Okay? So the life path 11 itself, darling dears. I'm a master illuminator. I am. I give the intel. The energy of the life path 11 is that I have to somehow shine this vision, give it to other people through speaking, teaching, or writing, darling dears. I'm not playing. Once I started to live according to my chart, darling dears, because your chart is your snapshot of the Akashic records at the time you was born. And then put my chart on a bi-wheel chart, that's BIWHEEL, and learned out my trajectory, predictive astrology. Girls and boys, it was over. Because you find out things, darling dears. What they wanted you to be in, darling dears, is worrying about this person being gone. Pardon me, a spiritual belt again, because I speaks the truth roof. Pinkies are ace of the deck, darling dears. But leave. This is you going to calmer waters, giving up on a situation that gave up on you, where there was no loyalty, darling. This is you leaving. This is spirit guiding you, darling dears. Your head may have been down when you got on that boat, metaphorically speaking, darling dears. But physically, you see the new perspective of the situation. You are no longer sacrificing the wood. You've given back the wood. You've let go or are in the midst of letting go of a very dangerous situation with someone who is so disloyal, darling dears. The prize the karmic thought they won, darling dears, it was a prize, darling dears. It was a prize that they must keep to themselves. You don't want it. Not for all the tea in China. You took a risk with this healing, right? Healing the situation. Matthew 6:27, taking that risk, darling dears. You left these worthless bottom feeders, right? Proverbs 6:12, right? Because they consorted with liars just like them. You leave their situations where they are. And remember, Isaiah 37:30, is it 33? I believe it's Isaiah 37:33. Their mouths are about to be shut. Trust and believe. How dare they dare? They're bold, they're brash, and they're getting it, darling dears, without the Vaseline. The Vaseline. So this is why you must have none of these to give. Don't feel sorry for them, darling dears, because they're just like TikTok. They'll be back within 24 hours trying to get back into your good books when nothing will be resolved, darling dears. We saw all of the sword energy on the purple deck was all in the reverse. Except for the what? The Knight of Cups. The charmer that likes to go from village to village. It's got me on my 31 teeth. And you know how I feel about my 31 teeth. It's taken me straight back to my what? Stress threshold and most piss offedness. Split the deck. And that's the truth roof. I can't make this up. Listen. Leave them with what they got, darling dears. The prize that is not a prize. Do we finish with a final card? We're going to go with the black cards, darling dears. We're going to go with the black cards. Final message for the big cats before we press on to do something that we're not telling anyone about. Final card. Right. I need to fill out my hand. Root chakra, darling dears. This is the frequency of the 3, 6, and 9. Play that at any time. Especially at night. Why? Because you're building a more stable and secure foundation, darling dears. It speaks about grounding. Saturn energy is about manifestation mode, darling dears. Okay. The energy of the 7 also said Saturday is a good day for you. Saturday is a good day for you. Why? It's in with the root chakra, darling dears. Remember I told you that. Support is on its way. Happy, happy, darling dears. Happy, happy. What's on the base of the deck? Detoxing yourself from the wickedness. And never you forget, if they dare to text you a message, you send them back the message, right, of Isaiah 48:22. No rest for the wicked. Did I wake you up, bestie? On that note, I drops me mic. Todd love to my Teesprings, my Patreon, or my TikToks. The Teesprings is where you can pick up the merch for the channel. TikToks, I upload videos on there. And my Patreon is where I put my extended reads. And if you'd like a personal read, darling, just hit me up at onebigcatchronicles@gmail.com. One Big Cat Chronicles is one word. @gmail.com. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big Cat Wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, cat. Cat, cat. You got this, bestie. You've got this. Remember, karma is a menu best served cold. Remember, you've got none of these to give.